Despite the people who try to distinguish generations sometimes argue on when exactly millennials started coming into this world, we can all agree today, for the sake of this podcast at least, that the millennial generation opened their eyes between, say, the late 70s and the second half of the 90s. What's typical of this batch of humans, which I too belong, is that we've entered a new world of technology and left the one behind us with that heavy rotary phone to which we never wanted to answer to, because it was everyone's phone. Now we are old and young, together, same person. We have jumped inside the train of progress and still have ancient memories of flipping football cards at school, when we still didn't have a clue about MySpace, or let alone Facebook. Before we entered 2022, I felt like I wanted to have a chat to another member of my scruffy tribe and listen to his story and see whether it feels like we definitely lost that battle or we still have a chance in this world. Wait a second. Stop the music. Happy New Year to all of you.
Oh, hi Fabrizio. I'm just fantastic. I'm having like best days of my life.
Beautiful. And you look well as well. Why the best day of your life?
Actually, I've kind of recently had a child. Like what recently? It's about 1 year and 1 month for now, and now my daughter is showing first signs of intellectual being. Not just crying baby, but you'll like see the attitude, see the person behind it, and then this is fantastic feeling. Like you're starting to become a real man, real father.
How
This
does
is
it?
kind of joy.
It probably is difficult to put it into words. What you said, but how do you feel when you see the character coming out? It must be the most exciting thing in the world.
When for example, as an example, like my wife, as a girl, she likes to put stuff for beauty, like creams for hands and this kind of stuff. And now I'm seeing that my daughter, she's enjoying the stuff as well, like very very similar to what my wife does. So this is kind of, I see that she's related to us, she's part of us, and then this is fantastic feeling to realize that this is your child. Well, I'm super excited about it. The main thing is you see how she's learning, how your child learns things from you. And when I realized that she knows nothing, like she didn't saw Star Trek, she didn't know Lord of the Rings, she will have to experience it throughout the way. And well, you learn from scratch, and this is super fantastic feeling.
Absolutely, especially when she has a dad also like you, which is in too many things. And actually,
Oh,
when
yeah.
we, which is I think 2 years ago now in Riga,
Yeah.
I knew we would talk very often about a common passion about video games.
Yeah.
I remember that, and we used to talk also. We used to make a lot of jokes. We probably in the when we met, we got kind of probably a similar dimensional sense of humor, and we used to laugh a lot. We used to smoke cigarettes together. I remember that.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
at the best, in a very nice place in Brevibaia.
Fantastic view.
Nice. And then we kind of lost touch a bit. The pandemic happened in those days, and then I contacted you to have a chat on the podcast, and you said, "Well, we should talk about my experience as a drummer." And I didn't know. I didn't know about that. So another thing that you're into.
Yes,
Tell me a bit
this
more.
as maybe as many I've just heard. I was into like metal things, our youth divided in two parts, like those who listen to rap and those who listen to metal, and I was in the metal cast. So I've started, my first song was Metallica's Whiskey in the Jarrow, and
Cool.
this was first song that I really enjoyed, and I heard of it and wow, this is cool, I should be part of it, and this like brought up the passion, which become something more. At that moment, we as a classmates with my cool friends, I still remember the moment. We thought that would be cool to have a band, and we talked, and I've asked, like, come on, guys, who knows how to play things, how to play music instruments? And
Yes.
guy said, okay, I know how to play guitar. There was a piano class guy, there was a bass guitar, and so on and so on. But nobody like played drums. And I felt, in the kindergarten, I had a dream where I've pressed a button on a small box and it became a drum kit. I remember it so clearly that I almost instantly like said, I will be a drummer. I didn't know a thing about drums. A thing. I've never heard a kid, never seen somebody's playing it, but I had a passion.
Late 90s, early 2000s?
I think it's 1999, 2000.
Or the end of the world?
Yeah, before the end of the world. Actually, this was a time when the bad 90s were almost gone, and the rich, for my passion, rich zeros begun. So
Yeah.
this was a good time, free time, as I see it.
You said yes to that, and you didn't have a clue. I'm going to be a drummer, but you never touched the drummer. That is crazy. Go ahead.
I really never thought, I never had a thought how to play it. I didn't know what to do. And there was no Google at the time. Like, it was, YouTube wasn't even there yet. So you don't have I don't know, a teaching class in nick of placing a finger on you watching it on mobile. You don't have that. So I went on the our website, where was a lot of like advertising, where you sell stuff and you sell flats, you sell cars. It was called Daska LV, which is renamed, and now it's SSLV.
The famous SSLV used to be called Daska.
Yeah, it's like a board. In Russian, it means board, like board LV. So Daska LV. And I found a guy who was I'm teaching drums, and it was Andris, and Andris was a jazz player. He was like funky and jazzy and stuff. And I called him. I said, "Come on, I want to be taught, just introduce me to a drum set." He said, "Okay, no problem. Come visit me." We arranged the time. I came at the time, and he said I first saw the drum kit. It was super simple, like a snare drum, a bass drum, and a couple of toms, hi-hat, and the cymbals, a couple of those. And well, it looked super simple comparing to those I've seen on the Metallica shows, which were a lot of drums, and it looked fantastic. So I thought, I don't want to play that, I want to play something more serious. But when I sat, and he said, okay, show me what you know. And I took 2 sticks, and I looked at the snare drum. I looked at Andres and said, I don't know a shit. I don't know nothing. He said, oh, yeah, good joke. Come on. Show me what you got. And I said, I literally do not know a thing about the drums. And he looked at me. It was kind of 3 to 5 seconds, guy realized that. Yeah.
Did he say out?
yeah, almost, but he said, okay, let's start from scratch. So this is a snare drum, and these are 2 wooden sticks. So I was this was a very beginning. He gave me a drum to practice at home. I started a hit, as I call it, hit a drum. So it was super simple. You take two sticks and you go right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Simple as that for a week.
Yeah. Also, I have to interject very quickly. Like a good friend of mine in Italy, William, and I hope he's going to listen to us. Probably not, but they like a neighbor, right? So we grew up, but he always been more into metal, and he became a drummer slowly. But I remember I was trying to do the most basic thing because he would challenge me. He would tell me, Fabrizio, by the way, anytime that we were together, if didn't have anything to do, he was tapping on something.
Yeah.
He's waiting in the bus, doing that, doing that, doing that, doing like
Shoulders, any surface.
any surface. So he's becoming an addiction. So
Oh man, I understand him.
you can understand it. I would feel challenged by it somehow. Or he would challenge me, he would say, like, you don't know how to do that.
Steering wheel is suffering all the time.
Yeah, and I just try to do the most, because I try to do the most basic thing, but never having a reason to learn that. My left hand, but my right one is not that lazy, if you know what I mean.
Lazy hands. Oh no, I know.
But the left hand is very lazy, and it cannot be used in this with the same frequency that I can use, with the same rhythm that I can tap with the right or move my right arm. More jokes coming anyway. So I totally understand what you feel like. At the beginning, you're doing something extremely basic, but you have to already, at the very beginning, you have to come out of the habit of using one hand more than the other, right?
Yeah. This was the key problem for me as well. And now I know this was a mistake for me, learning in patterns, let's call them so, because when you like trying to do drums, as you said, like every arm, every leg should like go separately. But I've learned the patterns. So like I've learned a pattern and I tried to improvise it and improve it. But I never learned to for like arms to do it freely. This was very complicated thing, and I don't know if anybody would understand me in that, but this is why I didn't get further with it, because I stuck at the time. So I didn't learn enough. The lessons, it was expensive for me to take them, and eventually I like ended up taking those. It was like, I don't know, 10 or to 15 lessons, and these lessons were important for me to start. I started good, but then I ruined, as I didn't had a proper teacher. So this was a good beginning, but it never got further. And now I see, now I see YouTube, now I see the classes, Drumeo, a lot of cool stuff, and they like showing super simple techniques for improvement. But for me, it's like over learning, like learning something new instead of I've learned already. And this is super, super challenge.
It seems that at the time, clearly, we're talking about late 90s, early 2000, we didn't have the immense advantage of what, for example, YouTube is providing and all those things.
Now it's a super fantastic thing to have, every single teacher on the tip of your computer. So this is cool stuff. You can learn anything actually for free.
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes. And it feels, not to mention all that little information, apart from learning, not to mention the quick access to any information, like anything that you need for your car that you don't understand, or from a recipe, even before learning, like the stupid Google question, where in the past, imagine, knowledge was, well, we almost the same age, so we do remember those days where you have to ask somebody that knows something, or we used to have an encyclopedia. Where you get the encyclopedia, and where there were not so many images in it, there were clearly no distraction to do something, and the process, learning was very elitarian. Now access is very fast and easy. Right. So let's go back. So we learned it. So you abandoned that no, actually, you were not too happy with the.
It was later, but at the time when we took classes, we started to practice in school. I would like to really thank our creative teacher who provided us time and space. We actually were managing on our own, and we practice in our school. I used to learn in Riga Classical Gymnasium. There was a fantastic teacher. Actually, all of them are super good. I remember only the best. And yeah, we started there. And our first performance was also a metallic song. It was For Whom the Bell Tolls. Super simple as the drummer. As I know now, Lars Ulrich, metallic drummer, is super simple drummer, and he's kind of guy who is laughed at by drum community because he makes a lot of mistakes on live concerts. And if you Google, there will be a lot of like all Lars Ulrich fails top 100 or something like that.
He's a good tennis player. I understand.
Probably he's a collector of paintings. I assume also he has a good taste.
Just rewind for a second. I think you said like we used to attend Riga Gymnasium State number 1.
This is Riga Classical Gymnasium. It used to be a high school with numbers, simple stuff. Then it became a gymnasium, and now it's National Riga Classical Gymnasium. Well, it's super popular now in the estate I was living in.
Super interesting. Which street is it? I can't remember.
Oh, to my mind, it's crossing of Stirnu and another street name which I will never remember.
Oh no, forget it. I'm confused.
In Purvciems, in Riga, in Purvciems.
Yeah, but right. So wait a second. So you were able to play the drum in school?
This is the point. When I was playing my left and right hand, there was only one snare drum, and I begged my parents to buy me a drum kit. And I've opened the mentioned website, and we found 60 lads worth of drum kit. And it was like, I don't know, for now it's like amount of about €200 maybe. So it was cheap, it was super used, but it made some sound, and I've bought it. I've at very first steps, I brought it home, and about 2 to 3 months we practiced at my parents' flat. And this is a headache for my neighbors. I don't know if they will remember me, but this was an agony.
I presume, I think Yevgeny, a friend that we have in common, I think you show me where we met, a photo of you with long hair that belongs to those days, leather jacket. Okay. At the time, so we had rappers probably listening to American rap, Tupac, what is it in those days, maybe?
Eminem was on peak. I mean,
yeah. And then we got the metal side. And we're talking about leather jackets, long hair, jeans, that kind of stuff.
Not only, actually, it was 2000 is very beginning of super popular new metal like Slipknot, punk rock like Offspring.
When you said Offspring, I think we said that to each other in the past. I was addicted to. I've never been too much into metal. Maybe I was listening to, I don't know if Anthrax, you can call it metal, I don't know. But Offspring, it was really my...
This was very beginning of compact discs. You cannot listen it into car because it still didn't had anti-shock, so you either drive a highway with super flat road or you listen to radio, you don't.
In those days, and still now, we're probably so much into music that when the music would jump and you wouldn't be able to listen, it would make you very angry and upset. I mean, what is the lifestyle of a young drummer in Riga in those days?
We were peaceful guys. Like we usually maybe got a couple of beers outside in the park. The community was large. I mean, it was kind of, it was those like 15, 16. I was at the age, and it was happy days, first girls. It was super cool,
First car just shared to go and do saulitas, or don't?
Actually, at age of 16, I managed to buy my first car, Ford Scorpio.
An old Ford Scorpio, which is amazing. It looks like a Granada. Well, it's a big car, a big Ford.
That's an ugly thing. But still, it was a car for a 16-year-old. It's in Latvia. It's like being a super millionaire.
I could only dream in Italy to buy something like that with my week tuition, or even like with anything.
Fiat.
Those were the days where you could get something like that and share it and play with your friends in it. And
Yeah.
So okay, so let's go back to the music. So how's it going? Is we are proceeding with the learning and everything?
So yeah, at the time when I made my old neighbors my enemies, we decided to move to the school where Mr. Cashin, the best man I've ever met, with big heart. He's unfortunately not alive anymore with us, but he allowed us to play in the school, and we like jammed every Friday. And the first song, yeah, we arranged it within a school. I don't know how to say it. It was like some kind of not a fashion, but some kind of event in the end. And we played at the very end before taking a whole school photo in our main hall, and it was the first thing. I was super nervous, super sweaty. I made a couple mistakes that, of course, only I'd noticed. But, after that, I came out reborn, superstar, everybody was applauding. There was guys who were older than us, and they, clapped on on your shoulder and said, "Good job." And this was the best moment I've been into. This was super fantastic feeling.
I can believe you 100%. Imagine if someone had come to you and tap on the back and say, "You missed the tempo over there."
Yeah, they would probably destroy me.
No, but I can totally believe you. Also in those days, right, where it's already super cool to have fun with your friends and listening, using the music that you listen to, and on top of that, you also gain so much in coolness when you exhibit in front of people. And heavy metal also has so much energy in the drums. The drums are so important in heavy metal, I presume.
It was super basic level. We used to play Nirvana, Metallica. What else? Well, what we heard, we tried to play. The long story short, after our school performance, there was a developing time. I've joined a band called Eternal Snowfall, and it was a kind of doom metal, very depressing thing, where where the singer is not even singing, he's growling, like the voice is coming from his gut. And actually, I was trying to remember all the bands I listened at the moment, and super bad things like Cannibal Corpse or something like that is coming to my mind, but I've never even thought of doom metal to listen to. I only played it.
What is the tempo? Sorry, I interrupted you. What is the tempo of a doom metal? Is it fast? Is it?
It's slow. So I was enjoying because it's slow. It's easy for a drummer. Well, imagine something cold, something black, and it's going very slow and very blackish, feeling inside. So
is it borderline with grunge?
Maybe it's somewhere near there. It was the time where goths arrived, the dressed all in black, all in leather, in super big boots that were designed to destroy skulls, and then a lot of bone stuff on them. The time was the goth time, and we were just in mainstream. We just were trying to be like everybody else and play the needed music.
Yeah, it's not too long ago. We're talking about almost 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
The music was impersonated by your fashion. Now
Yeah.
it seems to be all a H&M catalog with it seems to be like there is a 90s revival or whatever, but there's not a lot of arrogance in the clothing now.
I believe now people like expressing themselves a lot. And then at the time, you were part of some movement, you know, and then there was two very simple movements, and you were either in one group or you was in the second, or an outcast, you know, which nobody had a chat with.
You are right. There is somehow, funnily, there is more freedom now. You're right.
Yeah.
In the past, it was more like franchise and more like groups. But and you're right. If you take a walk in Riga, you can still see many individual styles. But then, of course, you see they still kids follow a main group of clothing still, and you get similar ideas. Or because in those days, it's very difficult to be out of the box. It's very difficult to be alternative, because if you're alternative, maybe you miss out in relationships and things like that, or whatever.
Exactly. This is the thing.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm not saying I understand the way that they feel, and I do. But if I think about what you're talking about, also goth with fake lenses, like vampire, and
this is
like now it looks like almost they're dressing like they're 50 already, or they're 40. But anyway, let's go back. Right. So we're talking about doom metal.
Yeah, we decided to participate in one event in which the winner would got recording in professional studio, and it all was happening in old Riga, in you know, small clubs. And we were winning round after round because we were bringing a lot of friends with us, and they were, you know, voting for us because the community was actually quite a big one. So we managed to win this thing even. So we won, really.
Describe this thing for me. What was the contest about? Well, was it more like a band contest, like a challenge between bands?
Yeah, this was a band contest where different bands were with their one song, and after the concert, which was in about 5 to 6 songs, everybody who was present were voting to, like, they were putting something in some bins or something like that, and then the votes were counted, and yeah, and the winner was decided.
No, you told me what the name of the band is. Can you repeat?
Yeah, it's Eternal Snowfall. Then on YouTube, actually, when the thing ended, when the contest ended, and we recorded our first song, my first song, it was super cool, and it was on an album of like 20 songs, and 19 of them were professional musicians, and we who came out of school, some of us came out of school, somebody came from summer houses, you know, and it was like simple guys who wouldn't even know how to play, you know. Yeah, for
Riga and others.
It's a small success.
It gets a name. What happens then? You get probably gigs here and there while you were a student.
This is the thing. We used to have like couple of concerts in which we were invited. In Liepāja, in Ventspils, so a lot good metal community were there as well. And afterwards happens nothing. Like, we're stagnating, you know. Really, nothing happens because, as I've said, you know, the main problem for those times, you couldn't, you know, record thing and drop it on YouTube, like share it, and then people will know you. You couldn't get money out of it. So you have to find another things. Yeah, and so eventually group fell apart, and this is the sad one.
Okay, we started from the late 90s. This thing progressed. It got very good. When did it start? When did it stall? When did it stagnate?
For me, it was at something around maybe 2000, 5, something around there. I was young. It really didn't, bring some negative in my life. I kept on going. And there was another band which I joined with another classmates who were progressing at the time. And this was hard rock. So this was like, another style for me. But it was faster. Probably I will miss out in the end.
So you moved to another band, hard rock. Were you enjoying playing drums for hard rock as much as metal?
Let me be perfectly clear with you. Like when I was saying that there was two mainstreams like metal and rap, this wasn't a part of me. I enjoyed every single music, starting from Russian pop music, ending with extremely dangerous electronic sounds, completed with metal stuff. And, the composition is good. I enjoyed it.
From Kino to house music, from hard rock to
exactly. You have to feel all the vibes that are out there. You cannot be like a narrow view. So yeah, this was a good thing to know every single aspect.
Of course. Right.
Actually, the group was also super cool because it was faster, it was louder. It's like after being on a ship, you enter a super fast mega city, and this was super change for me. It drove me another maybe year or 2 years, and I've really enjoyed the stuff. We also had a couple of records, couple of concerts across the country, and it also was cool. And the experience I've received, it's super fantastic. It's only the best, only the best feelings.
I have to say, I have to spend a dime on how amazing is hard rock.
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience, especially now. Like when you listen to your mobile phone or YouTube, you don't feel the real stuff. I mean, I'm speaking about like overtones. The overtones are things that you do not hear through like your speakers, like in MP3 format. You only hear them in live performances. For example, when you play a one note on a guitar, in MP3 format, you are very narrow to stuff which is like that MP3 cuts the super high frequencies and super low frequencies, which we don't hear. So it's only brings the frequencies which we are hearing actually by our ears, and overtones are those which we only feel like, and the live performance gives you the feeling of reality of something called, I don't know, inspiration maybe. So this why live music was so I don't know even how to call it, like real for me. It was real. Like I could even touch the sound with my fingers, because I was a drummer. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I remember this is one thing that I listening to different types of music, not all of them clearly. We got the favorites that we have. I listen from Bruce Springsteen to a bit of maybe Metallica when it happens. From I like music just like you, pretty much. I like rap, but when I listen to a drummer, I realize how important it is, because the beauty of a song, in my opinion, is balance. And for example, like when we used to play around and jam around, like in school or whatever, I wasn't good in playing the piano, but I would play that. My friend used to play the drum. And it's not about virtuosism. It's not about showing like how much you can do, which every drummer would like to do that in his appointed time, because it's also a way to have fun and vent and do maybe, for example, when we're not playing a song, the drummer that it was traditionally a heavy metal drummer, William, will go crazy. Double pedal, give him 10 minutes. We're all paying for the room, so he has to have fun with the drum. That's totally fine. But then we start playing together, and that's the moment where he's keeping creativity and his passion under control to make something that is perfect for a hard rock song or a heartland
Yeah.
rock. But there is a segment, like there is a window of creativity that you can work with when you're a drummer and you play with something that is no heavy metal. And the beauty of the drummer, if he can work with what is given,
Mm-hmm.
a little segment, and all of a sudden at the end you have, whoa, this is perfect. Even the guitar solo, this is not over the top, but at the same time is creative, is arrogant, it's got something new. So drummers and drum and bass have this kind of base that upon which you can build a song, but gives balance to it. It's just quite nice.
The rhythm section, the bass guitar, and the drums are glue, which is not shown when the final piece of art is made. You know, you see, you hear basically vocals, you hear guitar, maybe piano, the lead, but the juice, the taste, the richness of taste is provided with all the composition, with perfect balance.
But I remember that when, for example, System of a Down exploded back in Italy, they provided for everybody a window on the drum. Do you remember Toxicity?
Oh man, I love it. I'm still listening to it every week.
Exactly what you said, Ivan. That because of sometimes when the product is finished and is over, we don't look at the drums. We don't listen to the drums as something that necessarily shows creativity. But that song, like a Toxicity that exploded in high schools, probably all over the world, made us drummers, all of us. The voice and the guitar would stop to show what the drum does. Like we can all mimic that with our.
Everybody knew wake up and then make up, you know.
So go ahead, I interrupted you. What is it that
actually about the System of a Down? There's a YouTube channel, I don't know its name, but usually videos goes with like Toxicity, what makes this song interesting, or the best song, or something like that. You could Google it, and the professional musician talks about parts which are genius in songs. You know, he spoke about Michael Jackson's Billie Jeans and a lot of songs. Actually, I will not tell them every single of it, but you definitely check it out. So as I was saying, like I was in a hard rock band, and it also at the point faced the same problem. Like we was getting nowhere. There was I don't know, 5 to 10 songs, and they were not wanted. You know, YouTube only began at the moment 2007. It was cats only. You know, nothing like was serious about it. Now the first thing, if I make something, it would be on YouTube. Like for Facebook, YouTube, doesn't matter, any social stuff, it will be there. But at that time, you have a recording on your Pentium 2, and it goes nowhere. I mean, you listen, your family, maybe your friends, that's it. You know, the community that we have, about 50 to 100 people, it was that. So was the audience. So yeah, I started to become bored, you know, of the stuff, and I really wanted something new. And at that time, it was also 2000, maybe 8. One guy approached me and said, "You want to try to go to electric or something like that?" And for me, it sounded like a challenge, like totally something new, and I wanted it. We went to a garage. It was located right across the Go Planet, the most useless entertainment center in Riga.
I don't know about this place. Tell me, what are you talking about?
Of course you don't. And it was like famous in 2000, maybe 9, as biggest entertainment center in Baltic states. And it lasted maybe for a year, and then it became abandoned building, you know.
Where?
I don't remember the street name. It's Lielvārda iela. Not too far from Bikernieku forest. We arrived at the garage and we start practicing, and the guys I've met were incredibly talented in electronic music. Like, I've never seen this stuff. I've seen Limp Bizkit when the DJ is playing along. In Slipknot, there was a DJ guy, I never thought that I could do like something electronic. And they already had an electronic drum kit, which I looked, and it was a four to seven rubber pads, and it was kind of new feeling with the same instrument. So I went for it. Yeah, we played with electronic music. There was also the very similar event with the song contest, and we managed to win as well. And there's a professional recording. We not won, but we were at the final where we lost. But thanks to people who were there, we managed to collect some money for our own record. And I would probably provide it to you, and so that guys can listen in the end. So I really found the very simple. The Lady Gaga was top at that moment. She was her poker face, and this was inspiring us. We thought Lady Gaga is our concurrent.
What is the genre of this record, to get an idea?
It's also a rocky thing. There was a lot of different stuff, but this particular song, it's kind of electronics mixed with rock, something like that, with light rock, maybe pop rock.
So we're getting closer. We're still separated from that time a good more than 10 years. It's more than 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's actually ended more than about 10 years ago. So for me, as a drummer. Started to work, I was 18 years old. My first car, Mercedes-Benz W124 coupe. It was super cool. And I was starting to become a cool guy, and I kind of played a little music. I worked at the car wash, and not too much money, but
what you're doing right now, which is connected to, I don't know how to call it, connected to finance, but is this when did you start working for the same employer that you're working for now?
The employer which I work, my employer, it become about 3 years, maybe 3 to 4 years. Yeah, but the thing is, like, you won the contest, you proceed maybe half a year, and there's nothing. You try another band, you win maybe something, you record something, you proceed, and there's nothing. Lack of opportunity, I don't know how to say it. Like, there was a voice of song contest in which I took a part with my school friend. Her name was Karina. And it was like Raymond Paul's song contest, something like that. We participated. We didn't even get through the first round, but it was only chance for school to a kid to go through, to start the career. And for a band, there was only a couple of ways which we didn't know.
Something was slowly changing.
I was offered a job in abroad in United Kingdom, and I moved there, and I lost all my contacts.
Okay, so you went there for a year or so.
Yeah, 1.5 or 2 years, something like that.
So you interrupted. So you moved away from home. You didn't have any connections in terms of music, but maybe.
Oh, by the way, I was playing only one time, I was playing on a gospel. I met a guy. We were using some stuff together, and he invited me. Why don't you come? I said, I can play drums. He said, oh, this is fantastic. Just let's go. And they let me, and I've played a couple of songs for the church.
What kind of stuff were you using?
Nothing serious,
Nothing serious. I get it. Okay. Well, but sometimes that kind of stuff can be inspirational too, so it's okay.
Yeah, actually, a lot of musicians which I found as geniuses, for example, Freddie Mercury or Amy Whitehouse, they were deeply into it, and it was like Amsterdam stuff. But
I would say that there is a gap big as the sea compared to class A drugs, cocaine, heroin. I mean, marijuana actually has
I agree on that.
It procures images and enhances creativity in a way that the other two probably they just throw your life in the toilet. Yeah, no, absolutely. So
yeah, I think that it brings some it brings feelings to a different level in which you can collect all the feelings and write it down.
You can also take an idea apart in a way that is not possible to be done when you're sober. Like I have a vague memory of actually deconstructing an idea in the way that I wouldn't be able to do if I wasn't high.
Yeah, positive is the positive vibes that it gave us. Yeah, it also inspired us as well. But it wasn't like an addiction or something like that. It what really wasn't. I mean, it was only for fun.
In London at the time, I used to know a lot of people that used to wake up and go to bed with it, and at some point, for them, it was really they couldn't function without it. But still, in that situation, seemed to be better than doing powders or things like that. But really, but these people that I'm talking about, they would at the same time paint, or they would draw, or they would take, when they were a bit high on marijuana, they would take the guitar and cry sometimes. That was fun.
Yeah, and do some
They
really
would
cool
cry.
stuff, actually.
I totally agree. I'm glad that we anyway. All right then. Gospel in a church in England, in London.
Only once.
In London.
Yeah, but it was super fantastic experience. It was all about singing. The people there were fantastic, friendly, and I really enjoyed it. I was shy as if a man or a woman they ever performed. You know what I'm talking about. You know the feeling when you're super nervous and I don't know how it will go and stuff like that. But after about 10 minutes with the people playing for them, they were cheering me up, and I was kind of feeling that I'm part of the family, and this was so cool. This was so cool experience.
This is that's why there is a beautiful ingredient of soul in gospel. What happened when you went back?
Well, I went for a job. I was looking to a place where I can earn money. I found the bulb shop. I was selling bulbs. Eventually, I've got interviews for another, and no drums were involved at all. The room where we practiced was all the walls were covered in carton egg
packages or
packages of eggs, the tenors, and the walls were covered with it so that the sound is good. So yeah, this I remember as yesterday.
And what happens? So we got back from England in 2011. That's 10 years ago. What happened in between?
Job, earning money, brighter future. No ideas. I don't know. Something I got lost in my life actually, and drums fell out, and I was kind of in gray field. And only now I've got in touch with my friend, which has a music studio right now, and I've actually last week I've asked him to go and try some drums. Your chat really inspired me that I remembered. I've ordered rubber and plastic practice kit, so my hands can remember what I did, maybe learn some new stuff, and kind of you've inspired me for a new beginning. But up until now, it was nothing.
Anything that didn't happen music-wise between 2011 and 2021 happened in a beautiful family that you put together, a wonderful job. So definitely things happened, but you are still young. And
thank you.
Yeah, why not? I mean, there has to be a way to find. We're talking about that with a common friend that we have, Yevgeny, and we're talking about different passions. Like he came to the podcast, he started talking about a beautiful hobby like Formula One and everything. The other day I walked by a shop, quite weird these days because we're ordering everything online, so it's quite weird. But in Riga you got plenty of musical instrument shops around, and I was, wait a second, the only instrument that I know how to play, and I don't play it very well, is the piano or the keyboard. But I said, I love the sound of a guitar. I think about a classic guitar, I think I can have some fun with it. I think I can do something. I can play with it a bit. And I never played one. I used to have one, but I didn't pursue it. And I was walking by it and by the shop that is in Chakayela. And I went there just for kicks. I was coming back home from Rimi. And the only fact of walking in a shop, first of all, there is not a supermarket and it's not the usual places where we go to these days because we order everything on the internet.
Yeah.
Look at those instruments all together. And the smell of wood from the guitars, a couple of pianos, a drum sets, not too many. The place is not too big.
A lot of instruments, yeah.
All of those things together, it was like he brought me back to those days, probably early 2000, late 90s in Italy. I saw, and I used to play with my friend, but me and him only. And I said, I need to do something with this because but with the pandemic, it sounded more realistic because now I'm not really going out apart from a walk. I'm not going out for a beer with friends or things like that. So I have more time to invest in the house and projects and whatever. So and when the guy showed me that, I'll tell you what happened. He said like, so what do you like? What would you like? And the story is similar to when you had your first session with the drum teacher.
Yeah.
The guy thought that I knew something about guitars. I don't know shit about guitars.
The thing with the strings.
And I said like, so which one would you like? No, what are you looking for? And I said, well, I'm thinking about something very basic, whatever. I said, okay, well, acoustic or classic? And I said, what's the difference? And he looked at me and he went, and that I see. Okay. What he said, he was such a nice guy. And he took one guitar, which was so atypical because usually classic guitar, they're not black usually. They're kind of. He took this guitar and he gave it to me. He said, hold it. And I said, okay. And I held it for a while. And he said, well, what do you think? Do you like it? Smell it. He said, smell it. Smell the guitar.
Yeah.
And I smelled it. It's such a weird scene as well. I smelled the guitar. And I said, you see, there is no way that we're going to sell this on the internet most of the time. When you go and buy an instrument, you have to touch it. You have to see if it clicks with you. It's like you have to talk bad a bit about China producing guitars that they're. And then he said, well, I buy mine from Germany. And he showed me the thing. It wasn't too expensive. I need to go there and buy it. It's like 70 euros or something. But if you consider it, 70 euros is nothing.
Nothing.
For
right now
for that situation where you bring
when
home.
a rock star is born.
Since the pandemic started, do you feel like there is a connection between the fact that you want to go back playing drums and the pandemic, or there's a connection between the two?
The main thing that I realized during the pandemic that actually there are a couple. First thing that you should care and listen to people who inspire you and who are not greedy to give you their, the soul. Like, I don't know how to mention, like honest with you people that don't use you and like you're very comfortable with them. So we can call them friends. So basically, listen to your friends and be inspired by them. And the second one, there's literally nothing what you cannot do. This is very important thing because when I was young, I was thinking that, no, I'm not gonna make it. Who am I, and what are the aims and so on. And now I understand that if I would continue to practice drums. I have learned something on YouTube and so on and so on. And in the end, I would be a cool drummer. I would have a YouTube channel, and maybe, even maybe, I would be a millionaire by the time. But I went to a car wash, and I've flew to London. And you never know. You never know. Just follow your passion. And this was my passion. This is still my passion, but I never followed it. And this is my biggest mistake, which I only now I understand that I would gain more than I gained throughout these 10 years, which I spent on not being a drummer.
But if I may, one thing that is important, because the times have changed now a bit, and of course you feel that life has gone in one direction instead of the other. But how about just playing for the sake of playing? No, I understand is not the same, but like, for example, now you said it right. Now we got YouTube, right? We can learn how to play the drums. We can, in your case, you learned it already. You can get better at it.
Yeah.
But like, take this podcast, for example. Okay. I clearly something that I'm trying to get to know more about this country, about the people that I met, the people that inspire me somehow. I'm asking, like, I had many good conversations with you, and I thought you would be the best, one of the best guests for the podcast. And but the thing is, Ivan, this is like there is an investment for the future, clearly, but this is a way that I keep to that I stay happy with a humble result of getting to bed, not too sad about the way that I spend my day. Before we can actually collect the fruit of our labor in the future, because it's never too late. Even with I don't know, with drummer, whatever. Now is a different world. You can actually put your stuff on YouTube. You can get followers. You can get, maybe occasionally you can play. Maybe it's not your main occupation. Clearly, probably cannot be. But if you find the outlet that it can make you happy for a day or in a week, is already a lot. Primarily, I want to get on with the day. And I'm telling you, the fact that I don't have many alternatives because of the pandemic has actually represented the silver lining out of this, in the sense of
Yeah, exactly. I have a very good friend of mine which has a musical studio, and he won't charge me for me to practice. I'm really now I don't think that I will ever say no to a music opportunity, because it was something that was driving me. And now I know that if it's like it's your passion, if you're doing it for real, not for earning money, not for earning respect or something like that, it could be inspiring other people. You never know. And that other people may find you attractive. And maybe I know the guy who plays computer game called Heroes of Might and Magic 3. And I constantly watch his streams, and he's so natural. And I really enjoyed his humor, his real feelings. And I've even subscribed for his Twitch channel. So actually, I'm supporting him just because he's doing what he likes. So why not to try? I mean, I'm into drums. I'm open for every single opportunity. A lot of ideas are behind these ice balls, but I never thought of implementing them. I mean, for now, I want to remember the feeling,
yeah.
and we will see what's going on there. Maybe it's not my thing now. Maybe it will be just my hobby, but maybe, just maybe, I can share with something, and why not?
The most important thing is that to appreciate, to understand the way that you feel at the moment, and then if something has to happen, it will happen.
Yeah,
Something.
as you said, if it makes you happy, then it's worth it.
And we were talking about school education and the way that do you remember that conversation? And you were saying
Yeah, I kind of remember the idea behind it.
how the school system tries to level the playing field with the
Equal everybody,
yeah
with Yeah, this is not good stuff.
Yeah, it's not good, but the conversation that we had today makes me think about the way that we talk about things now that we are over 30, in our early 30s or late 30s or whatever that is. It makes me think that there is no such thing as a leveled uh, bar that we all have to reach with math and with
Yeah, this is super stupid. Imagine Mozart. He was like, he would be pushed to learn math and I don't know, algebra and stuff like that instead of creating a masterpieces. I mean, if somebody is super genius at I don't know, literature, he wrote fantastic texts or poems or whatever, why should he even spare time to learning math? I mean, the basic stuff is okay, but no formulas, no matrices, no this kind of stuff. I mean, invest time in what you like, then you will become a best at it.
yes.
Don't equalize everybody. Why, if I'm wrong at mathematics, I do super teachers, additional classes at things which I don't like. I'd rather go for things that I like.
Absolutely. Like, for example, are you talking to someone that punctually during my video school, I was spending the summer trying to gain back. So anything that I had fallen behind in math, I was trying to get caught up with in summer.
Yeah.
I could have spent that time, well, having fun with my friend. I could have spent that time actually getting better in something else, or maybe reading, well, I don't know, just
something that you like. It doesn't matter.
But the interesting thing, the only thing that I have to say, the only reserve that I have in this unjust way that the system is that we talked about is the fact that it teaches to kids how constructively wrong is life.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the sense that it gives like a big,
totally,
or cold water in your face that sometimes in those days is important. It can be important. The question is still there. What more would have Einstein have discovered if he had wasted time trying to come up with stupid algebra or whatever? Who knows? Maybe, hopefully, with your newborn, the system is going to be slightly different, or she's going to be lucky enough, like you and me, to have a good teacher that inspires you. That's the best.
Yeah, this is the thing. Inspiring teacher is also very important. I will do my best to get her in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, we like that one person can make the best out of your inspiration and make your family as well. And also all that bunch of boring teachers, but also they're important because they tell you how lucky you are to have a good one.
Yeah. On the contrast.
My friend, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to let you go. I know that
likewise
we're both quite busy, but let's get in touch these days, and especially I'm going to send you the best wishes for Christmas. Hopefully you're going to have a good one, I'm sure. And
I will send you a song for you to listen.
By the way, Yevgeny, if you're listening to us, which we know you are, you're invited too, of course. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fabrizio. Thank you very much.
That's what it feels going nowhere. Lost in lifelines of different kinds. The smoke always blinds those who want to get what it takes. Some tired of fakes, melting snowflakes that water lives out. Hiding my tears, leaving my fears. God hears my confession. Not bad. What a nice rat makes my skin crawl. Sleeping all day and then get away. feel, you know that it's real. Spinning the wheel, we can get higher.